Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
Look, Michelle, all I'm saying is, look, I don't even like the fucking Vikings, but people be shitting all over Sam Darnold all of a sudden like he was playing a terrible game. He just got out-rocked by a solid fucking red zone Detroit Lions defense. Now all these so-called people who were lining up to suck this dude's dick last week are like, oh, get him the fuck out of here. We can't win anything with the dude like this. It's JD.
I don't know much about football, but I do know about lining up to suck a guy's dick, so I understand that part.
Oh, guys, it's the day of the Vikings-Lions NFC North championship game, if you hadn't figured that out. And I had a little bit of a confrontation with some people who decided to try and act like I was being some sort of a shitty gloater and had to block them on Facebook, and because I'm that guy. Wow, I guess we jumped right into therapy on the Michelle in Review here. Fuck, I didn't mean.
Skipped in the thing.
Wow, I'm so sorry, Michelle.
No, it's all
Yeah, I just look, guys. Fucking referees are part of sports, right? Not everything is you getting cheated. That's just the way shit happens sometimes. And just because a guy had a rough game is no reason to fucking bail out on him after he took you fucking 14-3 in the season, all the way to the goddamn championship game, and you're not even out of the playoffs. All that happened is now you're a 5 seed instead of a 1. You got to play one extra game. Christ, I hate sports fans. Anyway, let's talk about some movies,
disassociated
Michelle.
so hard staring at my bullet points. I was just waiting for this.
I'm done.
To stop.
I got it all
idea
out.
what
I'm done.
No,
It's fine.
It's okay.
Fucking Detroit.
I like
what?
hockey. I like hockey and basketball because hockey people fight, and it's my favorite part. Okay, Michelle in Review. Nothing more to do with sports so far.
I
Actually,
do have
a little bit of basketball talk when we get to that one.
I could give you a few concussion statistics that would make you hate hockey fights.
Oh, no, I love when people do things that damage themselves irreparably. That's my entire life.
Did you say irreparably?
Irreparably?
I think that's how you say it.
Well, you know what? It's all those concussions I've had.
I am
made it very
Michelle.
difficult.
I gotta. If I don't zip up right now, I'm in a weird place. You take this for a minute. I'm gonna try to medicate a little bit. No.
If I don't zip up, take this for a minute. I'm in a weird place. Okay. So hello, Michelle in Review. This is our willy-nilly episode that we do once a month. I consume a lot of content, so we decided that I get an episode to myself.
Is that a
I'm
euphemism?
More stuff. Yes, I
Consume
so
a lot
much
of content,
but the content's dick. What is happening? Okay.
Are you sure you're
right.
not still high on cold medicine, Michelle?
Oh, I'm definitely still high on cold medicine. I'm just able to breathe now because the cold medicine is doing its job. No more blackberry brandy in my system, though. So thank you, Grandma, for the excuse to consume that when I'm sick. Because then you just get so drunk you don't care. Okay.
Wait,
so
was it homemade blackberry brandy?
No. Oh, I'm not making brandy at my house. I'm just saying that was my grandma's solution.
You said thank you to your grandma, and I was like, wait, did your grandma make blackberry brandy? And if so, where can I get some?
Just as a young child, she would give me blackberry brandy. It was the first time I had alcohol. I had really bad strep throat, and she let me have brandy, and I thought I was gonna get grounded for it, but then it helped. And then I learned I can't drink it any other time except for when I'm sick.
It helped, and I learned that alcohol solves all of life's problems.
Exactly. Speaking of alcohol solving all the problems, nope, I'm still here. Just kidding.
Michelle, you're fucking killing me tonight.
I know. It's the Robitussin. All right. So normally my base level, so that people know where I'm at in this show, is that I have to consume 60 pieces of content in order to maintain my average. That includes 1 point for each movie, 1 point for each mini-series or season of a TV show. Honestly, I feel like I should give myself points based on hours and really actually get accurate with it. And I have debated changing it so that I can figure out how much content, or 1 book.
I do at the very least, Michelle, think that you should give yourself credit for each episode of a show.
You know, I've really thought about it because my numbers would skyrocket.
Well, and also not every show's seasons are the same length, right? You know, some shows, if it's a British show, it's like a 6 episode. Sometimes they're 10, 13, 25, whatever it is. I think you should give yourself credit for each I think you should score it, maybe
episodes of a TV show or miniseries.
Or maybe, you could do like 2 points for each feature film, 1 point for each episode of a TV show.
Because I log all of this in a spreadsheet, I have debated going back and adding a column for the hours because I can easily go look up on IMDb, and that's a thing that I might go crazy and do. It's a thing that next time I have a manic episode, it's definitely high on the list as one of the projects that I might go to because I am curious. Because 12 miniseries in December, that was a lot of seasons of TV shows. I watched 4 seasons of Nip Tuck in December. Like alone. So that's only 4 points, but those seasons are 15 to 20 episodes. So that was a lot of content. Anyway, usually I tell myself that I have to hit 60 points of content in order to maintain a good amount because there's so much shit and I'm never going to get caught up. In December, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some time off. It's the holidays. Things are going to slow down at work because my business stuff doesn't. January, I'm going to get hit hard with projects. So we all kind of slow down, finish up our year-end stuff. We can chill a bit. Then we got Christmas, and then I went to Vegas for 6 days. So I was like, let's not even look at the numbers. Let's not care about how much we're logging. Whatever amount we wind up getting, it's okay. It's okay to fall below 60. And with that mindset and telling myself I was taking time off, including being out of commission for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then 6 days in Vegas, I still managed to add 59 things to the log. I don't know how. I was actively trying to take it easy, but it was only 35 movies, 12 miniseries or TV shows, and 12 books. It was a very book heavy.
How many total episodes in those 12 series?
That's what
seasons?
I'm going to have to go back and find. Each thing was at least 8 episodes, though.
I think you do need to maybe consider doing it by time and set your monthly goal at total hours of content.
Yeah, but see, even so, I was like, I'm gonna get caught up on podcasts, which don't go in the log. I'm gonna cross stitch a lot. I'm cross stitching right now. I'm making a big, beautiful fucking dragon.
You still base your monthly goal for your hours watched based around the fact that you do have other stuff that you want to do as well.
But usually it's movies.
Yeah.
Very movie heavy. Anyway, I'm fascinated because I don't look at the number until the month is over because otherwise I'm going to be like, gotta get those numbers up, gotta go watch more movies. And I told myself I was taking time off, and then my average is 60, or my minimum baseline to be like, that was a good month. We're keeping on top of the new releases. And I still did 59. But I do feel better knowing that it was 35 movies, including a lot of Christmas movies. I was trying to get in the Christmas spirit. We did decorate our house very, very we went full Christmas this year. We just had to feel it because I had to feel something. So our house was great. I set up an Alexa in the living room. I'm slowly putting Alexas in every room of my house. And my husband is just slowly accepting that she will be part of our lives. She is a third person living with us. And so I finally was allowed to put one in the living room, which means I could can't say her name because she's listening right now, but AI assistant, enter Christmas mode, and she would turn on the Christmas tree, turn on all the Christmas lights, and play Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it was the happiest thing to happen to me in December.
Alexa, play All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Joke's on you. I have my headphones in, so fuck off. But when I do listen to this back, because I am the one of us who listens to our episodes, I will let you know if that worked, because I'll be listening to it through her.
I probably just did it to at least one of our listeners.
I hope so. I hope they have a Christmas mode set up because it's highly recommended.
Hey Siri, play All I Want for Christmas Is You. Hey
Yeah,
Google,
nice.
play All I Want for Christmas Is You.
I hope. I hope it's a great fucking song. Okay. So, lots of stuff. I did say in our The Thing episode, I was going to talk a little bit about Vegas because I saw some theatrical stuff.
I just want to give you a quick warning, Michelle.
Yeah.
I have my Bluetooth headphones on. I'm going to be able to hear everything you say, but I don't want you to panic because I got to step out of this room for just one moment. Talk about Vegas.
Oh no, but I have what's the thing where that babies, if something disappears, they think it doesn't exist anymore. So
You don't have object permanence?
object permanence. I was gonna say cognitive dissonance, and I knew that was wrong. I don't have object permanence.
You and I both have plenty of cognitive dissonance.
Oh no, I'm doing this show by myself. I wish I had a co-host. Oh God. Who is even on the other end of the webcam? Okay. So, Vegas. I just wanted to talk about 2 theatrical performances that I saw. My husband and I celebrated 10 years together, not 10 years of marriage. Fuck it, marriage doesn't count. We got married during COVID so that I knew that he would be in charge of my body if I ever got put in the ICU. Long story, did not want my family to be in charge of it. Very romantic. But we celebrated 10 years together, went to Vegas, went all out. It was just nice to get back together and, just hang out. And we spent a whole day in the hotel just with him playing video games and me watching YouTube. And it was absolutely great. Just doing that. But we saw 2 live performances while we were there, including Blue Man Group, which is the peak of physical comedy. I did see them back in May when I went for a work conference and then hung out with a couple friends afterwards. And they went to Blue Man Group and drug me along. And then I wound up loving it. And I have realized that in another life, my husband absolutely would have been a Blue Man. Because the Blue Man Group is all about like awkward situations and heavily musical, and that perfectly describes him. So if you're out there listening and I talk about my husband sometimes and you're like, I wonder what John's like. John is a Blue Man. Absolutely. He's a Blue Man. He also doesn't talk very much. He's very quiet. I make up for it. So he's a Blue Man. But Blue Man Group, very good. Also very cheap for the Strip, which has like $100 tickets to everything else. It was like $60 and every spot in the theater is good. So Blue Man Group. And then the other thing, I went to see Awakening, which is by far the most beautiful thing I have seen in my entire life. I am a huge crier. If there is something beautiful happening on stage, I will cry about it. I can't help it. I feel overcome by emotion. Awakening is basically Cirque du Soleil, but with magic. And it was so incredible that I just stopped breathing instead of crying. I had to like keep being like, oh fuck, right, yeah, gotta inhale, don't pass out, because I was just like, it took my breath away. It's very overwhelming and overstimulating. Each seat has little speakers by your headrest to make sure you are getting the sound coming from, like, so when she's in the forest and there's a mosquito, it's kind of like surround sound for everybody there. And it's done in a round theater, meaning that the stage is in the middle in a circular shape, and the audience sits completely around it. So it's all encompassing and overwhelming and the most beautiful thing I've seen in my entire life. And I love magic. And there is a trick near the end. I still have not wrapped my head around how they did it. I have no fucking clue. And it's like, oh shit, I can see why people believed in Jesus now. Because if this had happened before, I'd be like, there's no way. That clearly is a sign of God. Because holy shit, I have no idea how it's done. But if you go to Vegas, Awakening, go see Awakening, blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stage magic myself. One of my favorite TV shows of all time is Penn and Teller Fool Us, because what I love about that show is I know enough about stage magic and how certain types of tricks work that most of the time the ones that they figure out, I figure out too, and I've learned plenty from that show as well. If you learn to figure out the code, if you listen to the code words they use and you go and do some Google searching, you can learn quite a bit. But my favorite of all of them is when you have one of those tricks that fools them or fools you, and just watching it. There's one trick in particular. I'll have to send you a YouTube video of it.
Yes,
video
please.
of it. I know exactly how it works, and I know when he makes the move, and I can't see the move. It's fucking madness, like that level of skill. It's close-up magic, and that's why I love close-up magic so much, right? Because it's all like, how do you hide that? Because I know none of it is magic. But anyway, this show sounds like something that I would love. I hope I get a chance to see it sometime.
And it's kind of like, I think that all Broadway productions should eventually be available for the masses, and it's kind of classist that they're not, because everybody should have access to that level of theatrical history and art. But this one, I was like, fuck, I want everybody to see this someday. There is no way that they could ever capture it because of that round setting. One of the things, the stage itself is very unique. So it's a round setup, which is already pretty cool, but it goes up and down and rotates and goes all over the fucking place. So it adds so much to the action instead of just being like on a flat or having like, you know, set in place scenery. Like everything moves. It's incredible.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Also, I agree with you about theatrical productions. Here's my argument. Like they'll probably tell you something about, oh, we need to protect the play as our income stream, and you know, this is our thing, and we want to, you know, it's exclusively ours. Hamilton didn't stop selling tickets just because they taped it and put it on Disney Plus. Pretty sure that show still sells out just about every goddamn night. So what are you losing? You're losing nobody who was that excited to see it on Disney Plus was ever going to be able to afford, like how many people were never going to be able to afford that ticket ever to see the show anyway. So you didn't lose anything because you were never going to get it from them in the first place. And so, yeah,
Also, I'm not even saying make it free. Like, make it streamable behind a fee if you have
make
to.
It
but
a
it's
rental,
impossible,
you know? Yeah,
especially when it physically sells out. And even if I'm in New York, I can't go. Even if I have all the money in the world.
Yeah,
well,
you know,
at that point,
somebody said that more people saw Hamilton in one day on Disney Plus than had ever seen it in its entire theatrical run up to that point. And like ever since, because I knew of that show, but I had never obviously seen it, and I saw it on Disney, and I was fucking blown away, not just by the show itself, but they. This is a wild Michelin review already. We're fucking 20 minutes in. We haven't touched horror. It's awesome, but no,
haven't touched
like
horror.
The effort they put into, like they didn't just put some cameras in there and tape it. Like the way, like they put some effort into design. Like that's a film. It's a fucking motion picture to the extent that I would never want to see like a live action adaptation like a Les Mis or something like we've seen. I only ever want to see it like that because so much of the experience is that. And I just, ever since then, I've been like, God damn it. Like I like that we have a Wicked movie, but you know what? And here's the thing. Every one of these shows is taped on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. So yeah, we might not be able to get the cool theatrically designed stuff, but every one of these shows could be so easily made available, and it's 100% classist. That's exact because a bunch of Broadway elites want to keep it all to themselves.
Yeah. And I understand paying artists for their work 100%. Obviously want that to happen, but making it available to stream, even at a cost. I mean, Disney Plus isn't free. They are still getting like a part of that profit, and hopefully it's rolling down in the way that the ticket sales would have. But I mean, I would have paid Broadway prices for really bad seats to watch Hamilton because of
Yeah.
all the buzz. Like, fuck it. But also, like, I've seen several traveling Broadway shows at the Orpheum in Minneapolis. My aunt got me really big into theater as a kid, and I'm very grateful to her for that. And that meant that we got to see a lot of traveling Broadway. We would take weekends and go down there just to watch those. And one of the ones that really hit me hard was Wicked, because I was so overcome during Defying Gravity. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I was completely just like, holy shit. And now Wicked is a movie that we have. Let's say someday they decide to release Wicked on Broadway on Disney Plus with the original cast of Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. Let's say we get that, and then Wicked is still touring and goes to the Orpheum. I would still buy tickets, and that's not even the New York OG cast. Like, it takes nothing away. They're different experiences.
Yeah, again, all I can say is the Hamilton filmed version on Disney Plus proves everything. Yeah, we gave it to the world for. Look, most people are going to be able to see it free. You know, I bet 3 people have seen it without a Disney Plus subscription for every 1 person who has. Right? Absolutely. Probably way, way more. And the show still sells out on the regular. People haven't stopped wanting to go or buying tickets to the live show or the traveling company shows for just because they got to see a filmed version of it. You're right. If anything, it's going to make people want to see it more.
Yeah. I will not listen to a musical or read a script. Usually I have some exceptions until I've seen the live production of it, even if it's filmed. But that meant that suddenly I, as a person who had never seen Wicked on Broadway, but had, or not Wicked, Hamilton on Broadway, but did create a Pornhub account in order to download the video when there was a bootleg of it, but just because fuck, I need to see this thing that like everybody's talking about, so fuck them. See, I got it free anyway without your help, ya elitist fuckers. But like, I suddenly now I can like give you my money to buy merch and participate and actually like help your thing become a bigger success and tell everybody that they should go see it. I just think it sucks that something can be a record-setting event in the theatrical space and so many people can't experience it. Like, think about if Shakespeare existed, made a huge dent on theater, and only a very small fraction of people were allowed to see it, but yet so many other theatrical choices were made based on that.
That's built into Shakespeare's legendary success. The Globe was a poor person's theater, right? Like the Globe is where the average Joe went, right? These were not, like this was not hoity-toity theater stuff. This was of the people sort of thing. And yeah, it's we could go over and over on that all night long, but side note, by the way, if you've never seen Hamilton, it is worth. You probably still get a free trial to Disney Plus. God damn it, go see it. When I finally saw it, like, it broke my brain, and I probably watched the entire show all the way 50 times in the first summer. I can, at this point, sing every word to every song in the entire show, and if I'm watching it, I can do most of the dialogue, too. If I sit, it's so fucking good. Anyway,
as long as you like rap and hip hop. I have some people who do not like rap and hip hop. They do not like Hamilton.
Well, they're stupid. Hey, speaking of musicals, bringing it back around to horror, just quickly, we did make our first selection announcement for Darkest Day of Horror Film Festival. We're going to be playing the 10 years in the making, sweeping the festival circuit, best horror feature at Fantastic Fest 2024, Estonian romantic comedy horror musical, Chainsaws Were Singing. Check out Darkest Day of Horror Film Festival on Facebook and Instagram for all the details. That's all I wanted to say. Michelle, back to Vegas.
I would love to go back to Vegas. Just kidding. I missed my pets. No, those were the two big theatrical things. A lot of the other stuff was just being romantic and ushy-gushy. Mon Ami Gabi at the Parisian Hotel. We went there the first night. I seriously, like, you know my personality, JD. And if anybody's listened to episodes aside from this one, they know my personality. And they know that I am a very, like, if I have a thing in mind, I'm going to do that thing tenfold. So when my husband said, okay, fine, we can go to Vegas for these dates, I busted out the Excel spreadsheet. I started plotting, okay, these days we're doing this, these days we're doing this. But I also know that he gets overwhelmed. So it was like, okay, the entire day is open, but we have dinner reservations at 7 p.m. at this hotel. I'm not telling you where we have the dinner reservations, but then you know, like, we're going to be in Caesar's Palace. So if you want to leave the hotel early and go check out other stuff at Caesar's Palace, here's a list of other things they have, and here's the free stuff, and here's some shops I think you'd want to check out. Like, I had basically an itinerary for him each day. So when we landed in Vegas, oh yes, JD.
I was just going to say, in case you haven't figured it out, Michelle's love language is spreadsheets.
Yeah, if I build a spreadsheet, oh man, it's romantic. So our first night there, I was like,
I'm just saying, like, I want to make
so
sure
excited.
I want to be organized for that's a love, Michelle.
That absolutely is.
Love
and it was our 10
dripping
years.
off a spreadsheet.
Oh, dripping. Okay, so what the fuck is happening? So we landed at around noon, 1 o'clock, which meant that we got to go to the hotel and just chill. And that was really nice. And then after that, like, we got dressed up, so we had time to, like, take a nap and just, like, hang out for a while. And our first night, we went to Mon Ami Gabi, which is in the Paris hotel, and we sat outside, and I had messaged them ahead of time to get my reservations and said, hey, it's our 10-year anniversary, so if you could just, like, make sure it's nice for my husband. This is really important to me. And so they had a little card when we sat down that said, congratulations on your tenure. Thank you for spending it with us. We got a little free dessert. Our waiter was great. And we got to sit outside on the, like, strip part and watch the Bellagio fountains, and all of this was going great. And I had, like, a beautiful dress on, and he was dressed up. My little t-shirt wearing husband actually wore a button up. I was so proud. And then we went to the top of the Eiffel Tower, which apparently is only, I think it's a third to scale or half to scale.
It's half scale.
Half scale. Okay. So, like, much smaller. I was hoping it was the real life thing because I never want to go to France, and then I could be like, oh, this is what it's like. And so
I'm clipping that out, a timestamp. I'm just going to take that out. Yeah. It's going to be at the end of this episode, just Michelle saying, I never want to go to France.
I mean, it's true. I'm not yeah. So I was like, cool, we're going to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and it's going to be really romantic, and this is what it's like. And then we got to the top, and I had, like, a full-blown panic attack. It was, I'm a thrill seeker who, I'm not afraid of heights or flying generally, but sometimes I'll get in a situation where I'm like, oh, cool, my body's panicking right now. Like, when I was in high school, I've always, like, I love amusement park rides, no fear whatsoever. In high school, I went to this like Boy Scout camp that was co-ed for a week, and we got to do this zip line thing where it was like a challenging course where they hoisted you up with a harness and you had to walk across a rope bridge, and at the end you would zip line down over the trees. And I was so fucking excited. I was the second one to go, and I froze up so badly that I couldn't move until somebody came up to talk me through it. And it's like, it's one of those where, like, I'm usually fine and that's my shit, but, like, I panicked at the top of the Eiffel Tower in Vegas. And the entire time he's like, well, we can go back down. I was like, no, these tickets were too expensive. Just keep looking at the city. Keep looking at the strip. Take it all in because we're never coming back up here again. And I was like, we have to be up here until the fountains go again. And the fountains had just gone and they go every 15 minutes. So I was like, I will sit here. So I was just like leaned, holding on to the chain. Like, just, I was like, it's fine. It's fine. I can feel the tower moving, but that's cool. It's fine. Oh my God. What if there's a terrorist attack? No, it's fine. They definitely would not. It wouldn't happen right here, right? No, like that's such a small statistic. And what if there's a fire? We would definitely be able to get down those stairs fast enough, right? And just everything going through my head. I was like, no, it's cool. Just watch the fountains. We'll go afterwards. It was great.
Oh my
Highly
God.
recommend.
I love the idea of flying to Las Vegas for a weekend and just never leaving your hotel room and just like eating room service all weekend and then leaving.
That's what we do for my birthday a lot is we get a hotel room in Minneapolis, and then it's basically like we can leave if we want to. Like if we want to go do something, we can, but I pack my suitcase with books and like just leave me alone. He'll play video games. I'll read my books in quiet. He'll go sleep early.
Play.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sometimes I will bring my laptop and just hang out. You know, it's really nice to just leave your house for a little bit. I'm a huge fan of a staycation.
It's also nice to just leave your goddamn city for a while.
Exactly. It's so different when somebody else is bringing you food and you don't have to clean anything. I'm so glad that I can sometimes afford hotel rooms. It's a very different life than we were living before. Okay. Shall we get on to Michelle in review?
Yeah, 31 minutes.
Part.
Love it. I'll have to put a thing in the episode description. Hey,
start here.
If you don't want to listen to us talk about Michelle's trip and the problems with classist Broadway shows and
we should probably put
stuff.
chapters on these anyway. It would be good to have like this is the news section. This is the
movies,
fuck
them. Let them figure it out on their own. I don't give a shit about these people. Why are you even listening? Go the fuck away. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hold up. No, they're gone. Damn it.
Please stop. God damn it.
That's
did it
why
again.
your numbers are decreasing.
Son of a
okay.
bitch. I'm sorry. Please come back. I know you can't hear me because you're gone, but I'm still going to beg you to come back.
You could summon them. I completely forgot one other thing that our listeners might care about that I did in Vegas.
I would also, I think what you mean to say is they can be summoned. I don't know if I'm the one who can summon them.
No, I was going to say summoned because I went to the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum. And I did
So we're not done talking about Vegas.
No, because I was like, fuck, that is a thing that horror fans might like. I was kind of upset because my friend Savannah was like, hey, I know you're going on this trip and you don't want anybody to come along, but what day are you doing Zach Bagans? And so I sent her the date and time. And then that day I checked her Snap Map and it said that she was still in Fargo. And I was very mad that she wasn't just meeting us at the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum. But we did the regular tour and then we did the flashlight tour. And the most romantic thing I've ever done in my entire life was a Ouija board with my husband. Nothing happened, but it was just like, oh shit, look at you.
Nothing happened. Spooky. Nothing happened because neither of you are a crazy person.
Well, it worked for me in the past. We could get into a Michelle's spooky history some other time. I used to be really into shit. And there were some weird things. We can't go down this route right now.
You know, everything that happens with that stuff is perfectly explainable, right?
Yes, and that's actually one of the things I like about it because the human psychology and also like the possibility to kind of manifest things happening is part of what I love about it. So yes,
It's so fascinating in the reality of it that I don't understand why people get so upset that it's okay. So it's not the ghost thing. What it is still fucking crazy, right?
But it could also be ghosts. When I went on a ghost tour.
I shouldn't say it couldn't. So far, there's no reason to believe it is.
Oh, God, we have to do a bonus episode just about my thoughts on the afterlife and ghosts. But here's what I will say. When a guy who was a part-time Santa Claus was giving a ghost tour down in Albuquerque in the original part of the city, he said, it doesn't matter whether you believe ghosts are real or not, but it's just more fun and hurts no one if you're like, yeah, but what if? And that's kind of my thing. It's more fun. More fun. Like, what if?
I mean, I don't legitimately, whatever. But no, even interestingly enough, same way with magic. Knowing how the trick works doesn't ruin anything for me. In fact, like I was saying about that one thing, if I know how it works, in a lot of cases, it's even more impressive to me because, like I said, I know everything that you're doing, when you're doing it, where you're doing it, and I can't see it happen. That, like, the skill involved in that, but it's the same thing for me with that. That's the way I approach those things, is the reality of it to me is so crazy on its own that I don't even think about anything beyond that.
In December, I went to a party where they did a white elephant thing. And I, for my white elephant gift that I gave, it was a Ouija board, but I had drawn Waluigi and put him in all the different spots on the cover of the Ouija board and turned it into a Waluigi board. And like the yes and the no on the board were covered by wah and wah. And like, I'm still so proud of that. Yeah, I'm very proud of my Waluigi board. Anyway, Michelle and review the regular chapters, shall we?
Oh, 36 minutes.
Yeah. The thing is, because I did not watch a lot of stuff, I did make this a very news-heavy one. So this is one that people might actually care about. And then we put it behind 36 minutes of other content. So a quick breakdown of how this works. News. Gonna give you some news. Usually I would give you a long list of things in the horror in the after times category, aka new horror or post-COVID, and then horror in the before times, older horror and pre-COVID, and that would just be horror movies I've watched. Non-horror, and then we would have a literature section, which can include comics, books, cool Reddit post, whatever I read for that day. Or that month. Sorry, I had to cough. Whew. That's cold's fun. Okay, so news.
See, guys, Michelle's a professional and has a cough button.
I mean, I have a mute button. I should just tape over it and say cough.
To be fair, I foolishly assumed that because my microphone requires phantom power to operate, that all I should have to do to be able to not have it pick up my cough is to turn off the phantom power. But that's not how this microphone works at all. It still is able to catch it. See, I'm going to turn the phantom power off, and you can still hear me talking, can't you?
Oh, JD, I can't hear you.
Oh, really?
No, I can't hear you.
Oh, God damn it, Michelle. Okay, so 37 minutes now. Let's get into Michelle and review.
Okay, so news. I have a ton of news because Sundance announced their horror lineup.
This part is becoming one of my favorites because I'm really bad at keeping up with the news.
Exactly. And I am so good at keeping up on the news. And if this is your first time tuning in, first off, weird one to start with, but hello, welcome. We're glad that you're 37 minutes in with us when we get to the regular stuff. But if you want to see what movies are coming out in 2025 and beyond, I do have my database publicly available. There's some stuff you can't see on there, but I have it filtered down and available on WeWatchShutter.com, where you can filter it by director, writer, dates. If there is a release date solidified in there, I'll put it. If there's a country of the release already, I'll put that, because something coming out in Italy might be limited release, and that means like people in the US should like hang on because we'll probably get in a year or so. And I'm starting to add notes of like, this was a Sundance premiere, so even though it comes out in January 2025, we actually won't get it until much later, so that I stop stressing out and being like, why can I not stream this movie that came out 10 months ago? So yeah, that's a ongoing project. Feel free to go look at that. I'll be improving it as I think of how to improve it, but it's always just been my own crazy notes to myself. And now I'm like, other people need this. If I'm going to do this, it may as well be publicly available. So you're welcome. It is. Okay. So some zombie movie sequels, 2 big ones were announced in the last month. Actually, this one might have been end of November. I don't recall exactly. But 28 Years Later. I'm a huge fan of 28 Days Later. It is arguably my favorite horror movie. It is definitely my favorite Christmas movie. The trailer dropped on YouTube with a release date of June 20th. My birthday is June 23rd. Thank you, Alex Garland. I know you did that just for me. The trailer dropped. Looks so fucking cool. In a week and a half, JD will be watching 28 Days Later for the first time. He has never seen it. We're going to be reviewing it on the podcast.
I've seen the first 20 minutes.
You have it's so different It has a huge switch that I want to know your reaction to. And I'm going to have to watch all the behind the scenes shit. I got to come with all the stuff I know about that movie because I have studied it. Okay, so 28 years later, we got the trailer. They did it 28 days later. We got 28 weeks later. And now we're getting 28 years later. We're not even going to 28 months. They went, fuck it, it's been too long, even though it has not been 28 years. But I guess this is an evolution of the zombie virus, rage virus, JD. So I guess we'll see what that means. Written by Alex Garland, directed by Nia DaCosta, who did the Candyman remake. And that makes me very, very excited. I like her directorial style. So we've got that coming. Also, January 2026, so a year from now, we get 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I know nothing about this movie except that suddenly we are getting like several things related to 28 Days Later in a very short amount of time. That is also directed by Nia DaCosta and written by Alex Garland. So I don't know what that's going to mean. If it's a spin-off of like characters we're going to meet in the 28 Years Later movie, but more info to come on that because I'm definitely going to keep that high on my radar. The other thing that got announced is a Return of the Living Dead sequel. We are getting this December 2025. It is a Christmas-based movie. The trailer is it a Christmas tree being drugged with Christmas lights and there's Christmas music playing and the tar man's there. It takes place in 1985, 18 months after the first movie. And writer-director Steve Walsh has confirmed there is absolutely zero CGI effects used in the movie.
That's fucking awesome.
Exactly. I'm very excited. The trailer makes me very interested, especially given that I had not seen Return of the Living Dead until earlier this year. And now I'm like, oh, sweet. Cool. Tarman. I know who that is now.
Earlier this year, Michelle, we watched it over a year ago for this show.
No, I was playing State of Decay when I watched it. And that happened this year. I mean, it's 6 days into 2025. Is that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about Return of the Living Dead. We did an episode about it over a year ago.
Oh, it was December 2023. I watched a documentary about making Return of the Living Dead while I was playing State of Decay 2. That's why I was in a zombie mood. So I was like, I just watched it. Okay, never mind. I watched More Brains, Return of the Living Dead.
People are like, well, they didn't edit that out? No.
You can't. We would have edited the first 37 minutes out if we were professionals. Okay, next. The Sundance horror lineup.
We like to point out that we don't edit our episodes like it's a badge of honor that we're kind of shitty.
To be fair, I would meticulously edit.
I know you would.
But you would get the episode many days later. And
I won't allow it.
Yeah, I have other things to do, like my upcoming blog project that...
Give it to him
I went
raw and wriggling.
Oh, raw and wriggling. That's two different synonyms.
That's from Lord of the Rings.
Maybe on their own. That's, no thank you. Okay, Sundance horror lineup. I have all the details about all the horror movies being shown on there. I think they call it like a midnight showcase or something. They will have their online catalog available January 30th. It does not include all films. And of course, tickets are insane. But for some of these, I might get like the stream at home $25 ticket. And then I'll just maybe have some people come over to watch it because that's a reasonable like movie theater price. And if I have somebody watch and split the cost, there was a moment of like, the emergency credit card, can that be used for an $800 movie pass to see all the movies available at Sundance? I did have a moment of insanity, but I'm not doing it. I am still debating. I think there's like a $300 ticket for like 10 or 15 movies.
Let's look at the list and see what we might want to see.
Sweet. Okay, so here is the list, and I don't know which of these will be available for streaming yet. I will let you know once they announce that. It was not on their website at the time of this recording. So, first off, Dead Lover. I'm just going to give you descriptions from IMDb for each of these because they were pretty short and I know nothing about them outside this. So, Dead Lover, a lonely gravedigger who stinks of corpses, finally meets her dream man, but their whirlwind affair is cut short when he tragically drowns at sea. Grief stricken, she goes to morbid lengths to resurrect him through madcap experiments. The director, writer, and star actress of this is Grace Glowicki. This name was familiar to me and made me very excited because earlier in the year, meaning 2024, I know we're 6 days into 2025, I had watched a movie called Strawberry Mansion that I said I had found while squelch hunting. Oh God, if you don't know what the squelches are, go check out our website. Go get well versed on it. Become a squelch hunter. I need you. So I was squelch hunting and watched bits of Strawberry Mansion and went, what is this surreal mess? Speaking of, I did see some original Dolly artwork in Vegas, and that was really fucking cool. But what is this surreal mess? Like, what am I looking at? And Grace Glowicki was the person who created Strawberry Mansion. So given that I'm fairly new to her work and loved Strawberry Mansion, I am very excited for Dead Lover. I do get concerned when I see a writer and director as the same person, especially if they're not like a super big name. We're like, okay, you're very involved in the movie industry. We know, like, you can do this. I do get nervous, but it's not always a bad thing. I mean, The Substance was done by what is her
Coralie
name?
Farjat.
Thank you. All I had was a C. I could not think of the rest. Okay, so yes, Coralie Farjat, and that was fine. But I get nervous. I'm very excited anyway. Next, Didn't Die. As the zombie apocalypse unfolds, a podcast host struggles to maintain their dwindling audience amidst the chaos. It is co-written by Paul Gleason and Mira Menon. Mira also directed the movie. I'm not familiar with anything that Paul has written previously, but Menon has a big list of TV show episodes of things that I enjoy, including The Magicians, You, The Walking Dead, Titans, and Miss Marvel. I had even looked up like some individual episodes because The Magicians is one of my favorite shows of all time and was curious what they had created on there. So that's pretty exciting. I do like when we get kind of lesser known names making things, especially when I'm like, oh shit, I like this other thing you did. Please do more of that. Next, Opus. An iconic pop star returns after decades missing. Writer-director Mark Anthony Green and stars Ayo Edebiri and John Malkovich. This one is probably top of my list for things that I'm excited about. I just looked at a couple still images. I think this was in the horror comedy realm, if I am not mistaken. Well, it says horror drama, but I thought I saw something about this as kind of like a dark horror type thing. Either way, I'm really excited about that. I like Io, even if I always forget how to mispronounce her name. I can spell it, so fuck you. I got that going for me. I'm just very bad with enunciation. Next, Rabbit Trap. Very excited for this one. Married couple Daphne and Darcy Davenport are two musicians who move from London to a cottage in Wales to complete their new album. By accident, they record a mystical sound never heard before and gradually disconnect from reality. Writer-director Brian or Bryn Cheney. All of their previous work is shorts, but it stars Rosie McEwen from Apartment 7A, which I enjoyed. That was the Rosemary's Baby sequel, and Dev Patel. I am madly in love with Dev Patel. I have loved Dev Patel since the OG Skins. Slumdog Millionaire, one of my top movies of all time. I like The Green Knight. Fuck you. Wes Anderson anthology of the Roald Dahl stories. He does a bunch of that. And Monkey Man was high on my list of favorite movies of 2025. So really, really excited for Rabbit Trap.
High on your list of favorite movies of 2025?
Monkey Man. It almost made my non-horror list.
Michelle, it's just...
2024. Oh my God. Yeah, I get it. What is time? I'm disconnecting from reality after making a mystical sound never heard before.
That's fair.
Yeah. Next, only 3 more. Together, a couple's move to the countryside triggers a supernatural incident that drastically alters their relationship, existence, and physical form. Writer-director Michael Shanks stars Alison Brie and Dave Franco. I'm interested. Touch Me. Two codependent best friends become addicted to the heroin-like touch of an alien narcissist who may or may not be trying to take over the world. Writer-director Addison Hyman. The only previous full-length movie is Hypochondriac, which premiered at Sundance in 2022. I don't remember a lot about it, except that it was weird in a good way. And that stars, speaking of the magicians, Olivia Taylor-Dudley. I adore her. I love everything she does. Sign me up. Sign me up for Touch Me. And then last, one that's actually been on my list for a long time. I think it might have debuted in countries other than the U.S. already. I thought it had, but The Ugly Stepsister. So follows Elvira as she battles against her gorgeous stepsister in a realm where beauty reigns supreme. Writer-director Emily Blickfield. No previous full-length films from her. That is a horror comedy, and it is dropping on Shudder March 7th. So that's good, because we can just wait for that one. So that's all the stuff at Sundance. Real excited for that. Probably gonna get a couple tickets to them. Not even counting like the non-horror stuff. I have so many movies to watch from Sundance this year. Next, completely unrelated to Sundance, Happy Gilmore 2 was announced. We get it this year. It stars Adam Sandler and Margaret Qualley.
Oh, I see why you brought it up.
Oh, well, no, I like Adam Sandler. I like Margaret Qualley. That's why.
It was the Margaret Qualley bit that I assumed was part of it.
No, either way, I was going to throw it on here. I just got excited when she's a part of it. But Happy Gilmore 2, the sequel we did not need, but maybe it's the one we deserve. We also get Evil Dead Burn releasing in 2026. Written and directed by Sebastian Vanasek, who also made Infested. We had an episode about that movie that made me very uncomfortable. It is one of the two Evil Dead movies coming out in upcoming years. Can Evrenol is doing a Turkish remake of The Coffee Table.
No shit.
Yeah, current title of Cam Seppa. Evrenol directed and co-wrote one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Baskin. Great fucking movie.
A film called Housewife that I really enjoy, but yes. Baskin, yeah, God,
Baskin
I like
is fucked up. So yeah, we're getting a Turkish.
Also, a rad weird name, Can Evrenol.
Can Evrenol. And then last, I have an undisclosed source for this one, but I'm gonna put a rumor out into the world that I'm excited about. The Day the Clown Died is an unreleased Jerry Lewis film where Jerry Lewis, a Jewish man, played the part of a clown who kept children happy during the Holocaust as they were walked to the gas chambers. It was a finished movie, but he did not release it. He knew it would devastate his career, so he gave a copy to the Library of Congress. There is a rumor out there that it is getting a festival release in 2025. Now that Jerry Lewis is dead. So I'm just putting that out there and hoping that I am proven right, just because I want to see this movie. Only because it's something I can't watch. And if you make something unattainable to me, that's what I want the most. So The Day the Clown Died. I did actually, at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, one of the cool parts was they had a celebrity room. Where they had just like items from dead celebrities, and they had a Jerry Lewis area there with some of his clothing and stuff. But they also had the Crow, Brandon Lee's jacket from the original Crow, and Robin Williams' outfit from What Dreams May Come. And that movie is so fucking rough for me, especially the first time I saw it was after Robin Williams had killed himself. And it's a movie about suicide. And I got very emotional at the Robin Williams part of it.
That title is from Hamlet.
What Dreams May Come?
Yeah.
Hamlet is the one Hamlet I know. Macbeth is the one that I don't know very well. I know there's witches.
To die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
That's the soliloquy, yeah. Same one, same speech.
To be or not to be,
that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die.
Listen.
To sleep no more. And by asleep to say we end the heartache and thousand natural shocks the flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. That's all I know of it. There's another half of the soliloquy that I don't know, but that's as far as I got it.
The only part of that monologue that I know is from Billy Madison when he recites it. That's why I know some of it, because he does it, and that's pretty good. Secondly, if we're just gonna start quoting literature, hang on, I will bust out Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
No, I was just having a weird, I don't know, just kind of a neurodivergent moment where all of a sudden I needed to get that whole thing out of my head.
Yeah, but now I've got a need to tell you that I know word for word all the parts of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, which was my favorite book in kindergarten. Great fucking book.
Go ahead.
Have you read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom? No. I can't. They can't handle the devastation that comes from a coconut tree when all the alphabetical letters try to climb up it. And then Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, will there be enough room? There's not. Spoiler alert.
Did you ever read Tiki Tiki Tembo no Sarambo Chari by Ruchi Pipe Pembo?
Yeah, I did.
I'll remember that till I'll be able to say that when I'm old and senile and racked with Alzheimer's and can't remember anything about my life. I will know that.
There's a really good stand-up comedy bit. I cannot remember the comedian, but I believe she's Chinese. And she says something like, the author just tried to think of a Chinese name. My brother's name is Bill. What the fuck are you talking about? Or something along those lines. It's so funny. Okay, so that's my news. I made it very news heavy. I just have a couple things to put in the other categories this time. Horror in the after times, aka post-COVID. If you listen to our best of 2024, not best of 2025, best of 2024, then you know I put Night Bitch on my top 5 horror, and I watched that at the end of December. Great fucking movie.
Yeah, loved that movie.
Oh, I was expecting deliberately funny, weird, like more in the like a Swiss Army Man kind of thing of like, what the fuck am I watching? But instead it's a very good, it's horror adjacent for sure, but I mean there's a little bit of body horror in there. It's very dark comedy, and I love the message of it, and it gave me mad respect from my friends who are mothers. I will fucking never do it, so I'm glad you guys are, so I don't have to. But like, yeah, that I sent it to a couple of friends who are moms because I was like, you need to see this because I thought of you and how miraculous you are. So that was in my horror in the after times. And then horror in the before times. Only 2 things of note.
Oh, wait. Don't I get to talk about Night Bitch a little bit?
Do you have... Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, go for it. I've been monologuing for a while.
I agree. I guess I don't really have a lot to say. I just wanted to sort of be like, hey, do I get a turn?
Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun. Here's what I really enjoy about it. And look, let's just be frank and talk about it. Like, Amy Adams looks different than we've seen Amy Adams before in this movie. Now, I have read interviews with her talking about this where she says, I think it was an interview in Variety, if memory serves. She says, this is how I look. Like, this is my day to day. I've also seen somewhat recent photographs of her, and I don't know. Regardless, whether this is her natural appearance these days, or if it's different for women, right? Like, men get bigger or gain, like Robert De Niro gained a ton of weight for Raging Bull so that he could look like out of shape Jake LaMotta at the end of his career. And people talk about, like, that's, and unfortunately so, but what a fucking ballsy thing for her to do. Either way, to become that in service to the role, or to just put it on display. I was really, really impressed by that. I think she deserves a lot of note for that. And yeah, it's super fucking funny. I like that her husband is an asshole, but also, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but, there are good story arcs here. He's an asshole, but, I mean, I can't say...
He's more an ignorant asshole as opposed to a deliberate
Right,
asshole.
he's not malicious. He's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. I will always see Amy Adams as Princess Giselle from Enchanted. Yeah. I fucking love Enchanted. So I was just like, oh man, what's the princess up to today? I don't care that you look different. You can go off and rule. Genovia, but that's Princess
still
Diaries.
a beautiful woman.
Yes, I'm just saying, like,
not that
what
that
is
even
the princess
matters,
up to?
But yeah.
She's just always a princess to me. Arrival, I was like, oh, you're a princess and a scientist? She's like a Barbie to me, where I'm like, oh shit, what is the princess up to? Like, she will always, I adore Amy Adams. She's one of my top actresses of all time. Favorite, my top actresses. I have a pyramid and I put her at the top all the time. Yes, okay. Do you have anything else in horror in the after times? Did you watch anything in December?
I mean, yeah, I don't at this point really even I know there were a couple of things, but most of what I spent time doing was catching up on stuff that I wanted to see to figure out if I wanted it on my top 10 or my best movies, because I knew they were potentials. I think the one thing I would mention is it was a January 1st drop on Shudder. It's a Chilean found footage movie called Invoking Yell, which is about an all-female Chilean black metal band who go out into the woods to record a demo and do like some EVP recording type stuff to like make their demo all haunted and shit. It's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know that it 100% worked for me. But it's if you're a fan of heavy metal, and black metal especially, it's got some interesting things, and it's a little bit more like you can tell it was actually made by people who like the stuff. And so that's the thing. I think people who are more into found footage in general than I am will probably really like it.
Ooh, that gives me more hope. I planned on watching that in January. That's high on my priorities list.
One of the big things I can say about it is it does that thing that a lot of found footage movies do that in particular doesn't work for me, which is a whole lot of the upfront of it is just these people existing and you getting to know them, right? Like I feel like you could have just cut the first 20 minutes of it and I would have gotten the same out of it. But that's me. That's all I'm saying. But no, I don't know. It's just an interesting little film. You should check it out for sure. I'd be curious to hear what you think of it.
Yeah, it was high on my list. I got excited when I saw it was video on demand now.
I see like heavy metal and its fans presented in like, not even talking about like old movies. I mean, even still to this day presented in such ridiculous ways. And I always got to shout out at least when somebody gets it right.
I like heavy metals. Like osmium, the heaviest of metals. Have you ever even heard of that? Have you even heard of that heavy metal, osmium? Cobalt's pretty cool. I like the appearance of cobalt. Some silver. Like silver more than gold. That's another heavy metal. Are you familiar? It's just head and hands. You don't even know heavy metal if you haven't heard of these heavy metals. Osmium. I did Google what the heaviest metal was for the record. Okay. On to the before times. Oh, also I saw Nosferatu, but we're going to talk about that in January. Because I saw it in January, and fuck you. It's my review. I do what I want. Horror in the before times, aka pre-COVID.
I also saw Nosferatu. I did not enjoy it.
I loved it. So we're going to
Because
talk about
I
that.
saw it in December, so I'm going to talk about it now.
Oh, do you want to talk about it now? Or
No.
you just want to say you
No,
didn't
I
like
just
it?
wanted
Okay,
to
perfect.
say it's a beautiful film that did not engage me at all.
I went in with the lowest expectations and was so happy. Okay, horror in the before times, aka pre-COVID. Two things. First off, had to go rewatch Sinister. I just had an itch
Had to.
had to. I love Sinister. Yes.
What?
It's one of the few movies that actually scares me. Well, it didn't scare me this time. It has scared me in the past. Sinister scare is scary. It's a little bit spooky, JD.
It's scary.
It's a little bit scary.
Oh,
It's
it's
a little bit.
scary. Oh, is this something we're gonna do now?
There's a part where a boy bends backward out of a box, and if you do that, where you're bending backwards in a way that is unexpected, oh shit, top of my horror list.
Look, scorpion bends are one of my fucking big things. Like
You bend
know,
backwards?
things with hands, anything with hands,
hands
anything with like scorpion. I think ultimately what a lot of it comes down to for me is anything where it looks like bones are being smashed or broken. Something
Sarah, the bone woman.
something. Oh God, that I need to go back and see that again. You remember that weird fucking side plot with the guy who was like trying to fake it with? I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. This fucking lament configuration is fucking great.
So yeah, Sinister, I just had to go revisit it, put it on the list because I did not have a lot of movies to talk about outside of horror news. Another one, though, that I think is lesser known, and so I frequently look up, like, what's the most disturbing horror movie ever? And I don't have to do it as frequently now because I'm aware of every movie that comes out ever. I read all the newsletters. I'm on all the forums. If I'm on all the subreddits about fucked up movies. If there's something that should be illegal for viewing, I've seen it. That is how it goes because I am a cat of curiosity and it will kill me. I am a child of the internet and I need to see everything possible. Even if I don't want to see it, like the fucking woman burning alive in the New York subway. What the fuck? Worst Christmas ever. But there's a... I wasn't even trying to be funny. I felt bad for her. But there's a movie that I am surprised I have not seen on these lists before. It randomly popped up because a friend of mine mentioned it on Facebook and they were like, what the fuck did I just watch? And this should be on the disturbing movies list. I think it's not because it's kind of boring, but the effects are so great that I keep thinking about it, and I had to put it on the list because maybe somebody who is the right kind of weirdo will go watch this and be like, yeah, I also didn't really enjoy it, but would recommend it to people. It's one of those, and that is Thanatomorphos from 2012. It's a word that basically means visible signs of decomposition after something has died. And this is a very, very slow movie where essentially a woman has died but is still alive. She's not a zombie. She's naked the entire movie for no discernible reason except it's just that kind of movie. And it's just her decaying while alive. And it's just the very slow disintegration of her body. It's not even particularly horrifying because she doesn't seem to really mind that she is falling apart and rotting. It's a weird art thing. I know there's a metaphor about how how a person can waste away while still being alive. There's a whole thing there. I don't think it's a great movie, but the fucking effects are so good. And the sound design really adds to it. But like, if you want to see a woman who's half dead and masturbating, this is the kind of movie you want to check out. It's weird. It's so weird. But I know it's gonna tickle the fancy of some people out there.
This episode is just chock full of great out of context quotes. Oh my God.
I'm here for the recommendations if you need them. So yeah, that's what we're gonna put in the horror and before times. Do you have anything to add, JD?
No, not horror in the before times, but I do want to take a quick jump back to horror in the after times. Another movie I did see that you had already seen and suggested that I should check out. It was called Lord of Misrule.
Yes.
Yes. British Irish folk horror film, very much in the tradition of like The Wicker Man. But I did, that shit's kind of right up my alley. Weird sort of like pagan folk horror shit, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. It is a little bit too much like The Wicker Man for me to get crazy excited about it, but it was a good time.
And I rarely like folk horror, so when I find one that I like, I'm like, JD has to see this because I think he'll really like it or really hate it. Let's find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out together.
It was great. I had a real good time with it. I thought especially like the costumes were really neat.
Neat.
That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm just giving you a chance.
Okay.
No,
that was all I had to talk about because I got nothing in the old times.
Okay, then on to non-horror. Again, keeping these lists very short because I knew I was going to have so much to talk about with Vegas and theater, and then Zach Bagans, which that could be a whole blog in and of itself, and the news. Sundance News. So, non-horror. First off, I'm a huge fan of documentaries. I watch several every month. I don't always talk about them in the Michelle and Review section, but I did watch two that I definitely want to note. The first is Slenderverse, Building the Slender Man. It is completely available for free on YouTube and dives into the lore of what created Slender Man. As a person who was on the internet in the mid-2000s and saw Slender Man being created and the cult phenomenon that it was, and was massively on YouTube all the time, watching all the content that was out there, I thought that I had a pretty good grasp on like, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. I thought Marble Hornets was definitely the big spark of Slender Man, but it's like, it interviews the people who made the lore, the blogs, the alternate reality games, the Twitter accounts, all of that stuff. And it is an interesting peek into internet culture back then. In addition to just being like, holy shit, I did not know all of this other stuff. I only had like a very small fraction, but they're like, oh yeah, we talked to the guys who did this. So then they did this on their blog, and then we did this on our YouTube channel, and then it built upon it. And they just talk about like how I think it's really fascinating the way that they engaged people and kept them interested, so that Slender Man became this huge thing that was originally just like a very small thing on like 4chan or wherever. Like it was such a little thing that then grew. And I think that even if you don't care that much about like, where did Slender Man come from, it is a fascinating dive into mid-2000s internet culture and how things spread.
Two things. It's super entertaining and interesting right up until a couple of girls killed another girl over it.
Also very interesting though, because it's like, holy, that we were talking about human psychology. That is a fascinating dive. I've watched a lot of shit about that.
I do, however, also find it interesting that you're so enamored with that particular sort of subject matter, but you still don't like We're All Going to the World's Fair.
That's not about mid-2000s internet culture. That was a different time.
It's 100% about creepypasta culture.
Yeah, not all creepypasta is good. Marble Hornet scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my god, are these people really gonna die from this really tall skinny man in the woods?
No.
They didn't. No, of course not. And now it doesn't hold up. But when you were watching that in 240 resolution, like, oh shit, could this be real footage? Oh, the Slender Man craze was fun. And then my other one, Fly. This came out on Disney Plus several months ago. And I actually have had it on my list for a long time, but I knew I wanted to just like watch it and focus on it when I was in the right headspace for it, and that it was definitely going to cause massive like the movie Fall. It was going to be like that. Fall, fly, all these commanding things. But where it was going to be like a ugh, and like stomach turning kind of moments. And I was correct, because this is a movie about base jumping. And so over the course of like 2 years, they follow a group of people base jumping, and this is what they do for their lives. They take other people base jumping. They travel around for base jumping. They do social media stuff for base jumping. Like, base jumping is their lives. And somehow, I think because it's on Disney, I was surprised by how many of them do not make it to the end of the movie because they die. I think I was like, oh, a Disney movie about base jumping is going to be like, oh, a fun little thing to show you how cool it is. It is a lot about how dangerous it is, how it can paralyze you easily, how it can kill people. Several people die. It is really interesting. Base jumping is one of those things that I know I would never do. Like I said, freak the fuck out on the top of the half-size Eiffel Tower in Vegas. Cannot base jump, but also would love to base jump. That is also a bucket list item. If I ever get diagnosed with anything like a terminal illness and they're like, you have a month, base jumping is like highest part of the list. Like, fuck it. If I'm going out, I'm going out in a cool way. Just throw me off the cliff. Don't give me the parachute at that point. Like, really make it so my epitaph is very interesting for when people find my grave many, many, many years down the road, where they're like, Tide base jumping? What? This chubby lady from the Midwest, she was not a thrill seeker at all. Buried with my cross-stitch projects alongside my picture of my mangled corpse. Anyway, so base jumping. It is a documentary about that, and it's just interesting. Lots of footage, lots of discussions of their mentality and the tragedy that comes along with having that kind of hobby.
How heavily does it go into the history of base jumping?
Not
okay. The reason I ask is because I was introduced to the idea of base jumping when I was in high school or junior high on MTV Sports, hosted by Dan Cortez. And one of the things they would do every now and then on MTV Sports, which eventually became like an X Games type thing, is they had base jumping, and they would, it's basically like punk rock fucking dudes just out in the middle of cities and other places, going up and jumping off buildings, highly illegal shit, but they just got guys running around videotaping it to put on MTV Sports, and I thought that was kind of rad.
What's interesting to me, base jumping versus parachuting, jumping out of a plane with a parachute seems a million times safer than base jumping. Base jumping, if the wind is just slightly different in a way that you did not expect, you are dead. That's why this movie, I was like, these are people who all they do is base jump, and a large portion of their population does not make it to the movie, or the end of the movie they are making to show how cool base jumping is, or not even how cool, but just like, this is what we do. And it's like, there's if these are the people who do it all the time, the rest of us have no chance of doing it safely. There's even people who survive, but are like, oh, I almost died. Here's the footage of me breaking every bone in my body. So I think that's why it's so interesting to me that I'm like, that seems like, or the like flying squirrel wingsuit type thing, that looks so fucking fun. Oh my god, but I also know I would panic and use it wrong and ball up and then just plummet to my death. But god, the wingsuit looks so fun.
No, it looks fucking terrifying.
I really, truly believe that within my lifetime, we will have virtual reality evolve to the point where you can put on goggles, go in a wind tunnel, and experience that exact moment. Like walking to the edge, jumping off, all that shit, and it will be possible in a confined space. I really, truly think we're going to see that, and I just want to experience things that way without the fear, please. But, your body won't know that you're in virtual reality. It's going to be like, oh, shit, what are you doing? Get back on the ledge. It's not going to be in on what's happening.
When I was very young, like I want to say like 8 years old, my family took a short weekend trip up to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and we went to this museum there. And one of the things they had in this museum was this weird like mirrored hologram room that you could walk into. And even though it was perfectly safe to walk out into the middle of the room on the mirror glass, when you looked up or down, whatever direction you looked in, it just seemed like it went into infinity, and it was just like these weird open spaces with color rails, and I got so fucking vertigo dizzy when I went in there as an 8-year-old that I couldn't walk away from the side of the walls because I was terrified and I thought I was going to fall to my death.
Yeah, your body doesn't know. It hasn't caught up with the technology that we have available.
Fucking
We're constantly
rad.
trying to trick it to feel
I went to
thrilled.
the sky deck on the Sears Tower before they put that glass room in where you walk out into the room and the floor is glass as well. Even that, just looking down from the sky deck, I had just like waves of vertigo.
If I wind up going back to Vegas again this May for the same conference, I will be going to the Strat and I will be doing a lot of their thrill stuff. I want to do it. I want to do it so bad. I wanted to go on the roller coaster that like winds up going over the edge of the Strat and then just hovering you there. And husband said no. And he was like, "You just panicked on the Eiffel Tower." Fair enough. But that's why I go by myself, and then I feel like a big brave girl. Okay. On my non-horror
Big
section,
brave girl Bertha?
Big brave girl, big book nerd Bertha, and big brave girl Bertha. These are my two. There are two wolves inside of you. Both of them are Bertha. What mood is she in? Non-horror, I did have Nip Tuck, but I kind of sent JD a lot of messages earlier, and that might be a thing that we follow up on later. I got a bee in my bonnet, and I might have to follow a lead. We'll come back. So then my other section is Christmas movies under non-horror. Watch so many of them. Just a couple notes. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, the sequel is so much better. I don't care what anybody says. It's a Wonderful Life from 1946. I love George Bailey. That is my husband. John is an epitome of George Bailey plus a blue man. That is exactly him summed up. Elf, 2003. Who would have thought that a Will Ferrell comedy movie would be so iconic? There is definitely a part near the end that makes me mad, and I had to immediately pause the movie and explain to John what was wrong with that part, which is funny because it's entirely a movie about a man who was raised by an elf at the North Pole, and I have a problem with one particular line of dialogue at the end and how it breaks the realism for me. Silent Night from 2021 is high on my list of favorite Christmas movies. This is only my second year watching it. I'm going to continue saving it only for Christmas season and only watching it once just to keep that magic alive. But it is basically, hey, the end is near. It's Christmas. Let's all die together. And it is a dark comedy about choosing to do that. Also, funny thing, Silent Night does have Lily Rose Depp, who stars in Nosferatu. So it was just kind of silly seeing her in Silent Night and then Nosferatu. Very different roles. Die Hard. I saw Die Hard for the first time in totality after the whole debate about like Die Hard being a Christmas movie came about. So it's insane to me that people don't think it's a Christmas movie, not even in an ironic fashion. Like it's a Christmas movie.
Absolutely a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I don't understand the like why that's an argument. But
it's
I also
about
saw
a man
after.
trying to put his family back together at the holidays.
Exactly. It's a Christmas. Christmas is such a big part of it. There's a lot of, if there are Christmas lights in your movie, it's a Christmas movie. 28 days later.
Look, all I'm saying is, sometimes putting your family back together at the holidays involves challenges like, we gotta figure out how we're gonna pull off the small town Christmas pageant this year when somebody's grandpa is being a grudge holder against somebody else's grandpa. And sometimes it's a bunch of assholes try to rob a bunch of money from a tall building and take a bunch of people hostage. It's still a Christmas movie.
And Santa can help in both cases. That skyscraper would have a very long chimney for him to get down, but he'd do it because he's magic. Okay,
Yep.
And then my other Christmas movie, the last one of note, because we're not going to talk about Eight Crazy Nights. Also, I did watch more Christmas movies than these. These were just the ones. Scrooged. I saw Scrooged. It was pretty good. Adult Swim Yule Log 2 Branching Out. Another case where the sequel is better than the original. I loved Adult Swim Yule Log 2.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I intend to. But I'm told it's literally a direct sequel to the previous film.
Correct.
And I don't remember, like I remember it, but I don't remember it in great detail. So I want to watch them as like a twofer, you know, go back and watch the first one and then the sequel right after it. I want to make sure it's fresh in my mind.
There was part of me where I started it and I was like, oh, I don't remember enough. And I paused it and debated watching the first. But I just looked up a quick summary on the internet and went, oh, that's all I need to know. Okay. So I didn't feel compelled to watch the full thing. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this lady did this in the first one. Okay, I gotcha. And that's, yeah.
My only Christmas, well, first of all, I watched so many weird like Hallmark, Lifetime, cable TV Christmas with the Christmas in the Pines or whatever. Cause my mom loves that shit, but I carried out my new holiday tradition, which is I find a day, hopefully either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I got it done on Christmas Eve this year. You double feature A Christmas Story and Black Christmas because they're made by the same guy. And that's just funny to me, and they're both awesome.
Brendan, one of our listeners, Brendan, he was sending me Christmas movies because he also likes rom-coms and stuff like that. And the one that I have not gotten around to yet because it's only available on the Hallmark channel, one of the few ones that I don't have. And I want to force my husband to watch this with me when I do watch it, so gotta get the subscription at a perfectly timed moment, is Holiday Touchdown, A Chief's Love Story. And I still, Brendan, I know you're going to listen to this. I still have it on my list, and I absolutely will be watching it.
Oh, my God.
I got to see it. I just have not yet. So
Michelle, that's...
maybe February.
By the way, that's my... if we get through this fucking DDHFF thing unscathed, my next Fargo Theater idea, and the only challenging thing about it is going to be getting in touch with the people who can get me the rights to play the movies. But I want to do a double feature on Christmas Day at the Fargo Theater of A Christmas Story and Black Christmas.
Yep. And
that
will support this.
Oh,
I have a feeling a lot of people.
We could absolutely sell out the side room, no problem.
Absolutely.
We'll see how it goes. Side note, by the way, tickets going to be going on sale for Darkest Day of Horror Film Festival February 1st. It's going to be, I know like very few people listening to this right now are actually going to be able to attend. But come support us anyway. The more people who follow us and like our page, the more reach we get, and that would be super cool. But I don't even know what the end goal of what I was gonna say there was. Oh, I was gonna tell you, the earlier you buy your tickets, the cheaper they're gonna be.
The general rule of life. Brendan also recommended that I check out something. He thought this would have been very funny, and I agree. If December had not been so packed, I would have done this. But Justin G. Dick made a movie called Anything for Jackson. That is a Shudder original, I believe.
I've seen it.
Shudder exclusive. Yes, so that movie. But the majority of his catalog is Christmas romantic comedies. So just reading from his IMDb list, the first thing listed is Creepshow. He did 2 episodes. But then Christmas in the Wilds, Romance in the Wilds, A Christmas Exchange, Christmas in the Rockies, Love in Harmony Valley, Pony Sayers Club, The Big Sleepover, The Wedding Planners, Anything for Jackson, Love by Accident, Baby in a Manger, Christmas in Paris, Christmas with the Prince, Becoming Royal. Like, most of his catalog is Christmas rom-coms, and Brendan suggested that we do Anything for Jackson and then one of his Christmas movies as a double feature. And I think I'll be doing that next year because that is a very funny concept to me of like, these are the 2 things you're known for. Okay. It's like A Christmas Story and Black Christmas of just like, oh, okay. There are 2 wolves inside of you. Both are Christmas.
There are 2 wolves inside of you. One of them is Bertha.
The other one is also Bertha. Okay, on to literature, unless you have anything to add to non-horror.
No, I saw that new Jack Black Christmas horror movie where he's the devil.
Yeah, I felt very.
That's all.
I felt very meh about seeing it, so still have not seen it. I may be watching Christmas movies throughout January. I'm very far behind on my
guys.
list
Join
of
me in
things.
my new tradition going forward. I watch John Carpenter's Halloween on Halloween every year, and I'm gonna be watching A Christmas Story / Black Christmas on Christmas Day every year. Join me in this new tradition.
Story, every Christmas Day. I bought it on DVD because I no longer have cable or DirecTV or any of that, so I can just play it on repeat.
I have on one occasion, and I'll be obviously honest, I didn't fully pay attention through the entire thing, but I stayed up for 24 hours and watched 24 hours of A Christmas Story on TBS.
Were you a child? Because those were the good old days when I could do that.
No, I was probably 24, 25.
Oh, I was like, I could not stay up and watch 24 hours of A Christmas Story now.
Oh, no, definitely not now.
But back when my body was all sugar. Oh, great times. Okay, literature. Just 2 things to note. But first I must cough and I will mute myself like a professional.
Michelle is a professional. I've been actually doing really good about tracking my cough times on this episode. I think I'm going to get them all.
Nice. Don't say that. I'm a completionist, and now there will be an achievement.
I said I think I'm going to get them all.
I know, but now, like, if you miss one, we're all going to point it out to you. It's like when people find squelches, and they're like, 51 minutes in, there's a squelch. 53 minutes in, there's a JD cough. Okay, literature.
You're gonna point out to me that I sometimes talk over you like it's not something I'm well aware of and haven't been talking about on every episode of this show for months. Oh wait, I still haven't gotten over that.
I mean, there's still a lot of things I haven't gotten over. We don't have to get into them right now, but sometimes I do think, like, why does that lady still bother you? She was a bitch and everybody knows it, but I'm like, she was really mean to me in 6th grade and I'm not okay with it. And this is why I'm in therapy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that one person that I had an issue with.
Oh, I know who you have an issue with.
I'm so confused right now. Please continue.
I'm not confused, and that's all that matters. Literature, 2 things. There's a movie adaptation coming out of a book called Whale Fall. So I had to go read the book. I was curious. It's one of those where parts of the book don't work as a book and would work better as a movie, but parts of the book don't feel like they'll work as a movie, and I don't know how they'll get around it, so I'm really curious. Essentially, it is a son whose father is this really well-known diver, a deep-sea diver, and he goes diving, probably in kind of like a suicide attempt situation, and never returns. So the son seeks out to find his body and thinks that will redeem how people feel about him not having a good relationship with his father. And then as he's diving in the sea looking for his father, it's doing flashbacks. So he'll be like, I am at this level, and as I'm swimming, I see a jellyfish, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's neat. But 10 years ago, my father punched me in the face. Like, it's that kind of thing, and then it's telling us both stories simultaneously. And I feel like the parts where he's diving into the sea will be, because I don't want to get into it, but there's going to be some really cool stuff to see in that movie, and it's going to be really exciting. I have no idea how they're going to maintain the integrity of the book with those flashbacks side by side. But I'm excited about the possibility, and I think there's enough effects that I need to see them on the big screen to justify. Like, fuck yeah, give me a movie. Even if it's bad, I want to see like these things that are being described in the book. So
when you said whale fall, I immediately thought, I hope this is like Moonfall, but with a whale.
Oh my God, yes.
That reminds me, by the way,
I
have still only seen it the one time when I went to it in the theater, which, by the way, I'm so fucking glad I did that, Because it's that level of ridiculous that seeing it on a huge screen just added to the experience. I was there with my buddies Aaron and Matt, and we all were just reveling in the glorious absurdity of it. I fucking love that movie.
I can't say from personal experience, but I have gotten to experience certain things as a friend of mine was on mushrooms experiencing the same thing, and I'm just watching how much more they enjoy it. I have watched a friend on mushrooms watch Moonfall, and it looks like a 10 out of 10 experience. So if that interests you, I have watched the friend watch Moonfall, and they seem to have a great time. So
yeah,
if that's your thing.
I'm not going to say I enjoy all of his films, but I am an unironic fan of plenty of Roland Emmerich films. I like Stargate. Yes. I like Independence Day. I'm not the biggest on the Independence Day sequel. I like Moonfall. There's a couple of them in there I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen 10,000 BC or 20. No, I did see 20. Or The Day After Tomorrow is the other one I saw.
That's one of my favorite apocalypse.
It's wild. It's like I don't always need my science fiction to be scientifically accurate. Is all I'm saying.
Oh no, JD just disappeared on me.
Michelle, are you still there?
We were talking about Moonfall.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. What did we do to deserve this? We weren't even talking shit.
What just happened, Michelle?
Roland Emmerich, is this
Oh no, guys,
Facebook went down.
Do I cut
Everything
the feed and reconnect?
But Facebook is down.
Or do I leave it going and see if she comes back?
And so is my Facebook connection.
How is this happening?
Oh, we're going to try to call him
35
back.
minutes.
The moon is falling.
100 out. Oh, you're back! Oh, I was saying to myself, in fact, I told the people, I was like, do I disconnect and hope she calls back, or do I just leave it alone and see if she comes back? And you came back.
I'll always come back. Yeah,
I don't know.
A dog. You shoved me outside. I'm gonna stay loyal.
I think the last thing I was talking about was how I don't need the science in my science fiction to be accurate.
That is the exact last thing that I heard you say too.
Hey, Michelle, I don't mean to suddenly create a problem here, but do you have a whole lot more to talk about?
I hear your dog barking. I have one more thing, and I can go fast.
All right.
Saga. I finally read the comics, and I got to the last book of Saga, and I went, this is really good. I'm excited to see more, or to read more of Saga. And then as I got to the end of the last Saga book, I went, that ends on kind of a cliffhanger, doesn't it? And it's because Saga is still being made, and I did not know that. So I already pre-ordered the next Saga book. I'm slowly working my way through the comics that my friend Mike keeps giving me. He's forcing comics on me, which does mean that I get to read a lot of the cool things that have been on my list for a long time. But yeah, Saga is still being made, and I guess it's living up to its name. And they say that it'll not be done for like 5 more years. And I'm really mad about that because I absolutely will forget everything that has happened in the saga so far. But it's very good. I'm just mad that it's not done. It's so good, I want it to be done.
You're talking about the Saga comic?
Yeah.
Sorry, I completely lost the thread while this dog was flipping out.
It's all good. Yeah, the Saga comic, it's so good I need it to be done so that it's like, oh, this is good. I can add this to my collection now. But they're still making it. I'm mad at them for that.
I haven't read comics in so long. Sometimes I think about getting back into it, but then I'm like, oh, I don't need another thing. I already have so many things.
Yeah.
I used to love comics.
I'm very selective. Very selective. I like my horror comics. I got into Crossed last year, and now I want to get the next arc of it that I don't have yet, which is like 120 issues. And I'm just waiting for $300 to be able to buy all of that. So then I'll be continuing that. Crossed is very good. Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't really have a lot else to talk about. This is your jam anyway. Should we just say goodnight?
Yeah. What's really cool is that despite like 40 minutes of discussion about Vegas and theater and Broadway and all of that, This is still about the average length of a Michelin review. It's
Yeah,
amazing what happens if I don't talk about movies.
We got a full hour worth of movie discussion out of things afterwards anyway. What I love about it is we started up and took like 35 minutes to get into the movie discussion, and then literally within 3 minutes of the last bit being done, we're like, oh, cool, that's it. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Yeah. Good night, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShutter.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files, as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at WeWatchShutter on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@WeWatchShutter.com is the address. mail@WeWatchShutter.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shutter is a production of Rat Factory Media.
I never want to go to France.